A person's true greatness is shaped by the quality of their thoughts. This timeless idea has been proven again and again through the lives of extraordinary individuals such as Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos. Napoleon Hill, in his legendary book Think and Grow Rich, famously said, "What the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve." But if our thoughts truly have such power, why do so many people still struggle in life? Why do so many fail to reach success? Is it because they don't think about their future deeply enough? Or is it because they fail to recognize their own hidden potential? Today's story will uncover the answers to these questions. Along the way, it will teach you a powerful life lesson, one that can completely transform how you see yourself and the world. You will also learn some useful English words to improve your language skills, so stay with us until the end. I promise your time will be well spent. Once, in a crowded railway station filled with constant noise, rushing footsteps, and echoing announcements, lived a beggar. Every day he sat near the platform, stretching out his hand to passengers as they waited for their trains. Asking for alms was the only way he knew how to survive. Most people walked past him without noticing, some gave a few coins, and others ignored him completely. One day, as the beggar followed his usual routine, his eyes fell upon a man who stood out from the crowd. The man was well dressed, wearing an expensive suit, polished shoes, and a confident expression on his face. His posture reflected success and self-assurance. The beggar thought to himself, "This man must be wealthy. If I ask him for money, he will surely give me a generous amount." With hope in his heart, the beggar approached the businessman and held out his hand. But instead of offering money, the businessman looked at him calmly and asked a question the beggar had never heard before. "Do you always take from others?" the businessman asked, "or have you ever given anything to someone?" The beggar was shocked. He had expected money, not a question. Confused and slightly embarrassed, he replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I survive by asking for alms. I have nothing to give to anyone." The businessman smiled gently and said, "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you also have no right to ask for anything. I am a businessman, and I believe in exchange. If you can offer me something, I can give you something in return. But if you offer nothing, then I cannot give you anything either." With that, the businessman boarded his train and left. The beggar stood there in silence, stunned. The man's words echoed in his mind. He had been begging for years, yet no one had ever spoken to him this way. The businessman was not rude or unkind, but his words were truthful and powerful. "If I offer nothing," the beggar thought, "why should people give me anything?" For the first time in his life, he began to question his own actions. That night, he could not sleep. He lay awake, staring into the darkness, replaying the businessman's words again and again. "If you want to receive, you must first give." But what could he possibly give? He was poor, homeless, and owned nothing. "I am just a beggar," he thought. "I have nothing." 2 days passed. During that time, the beggar did not ask anyone for money. He was lost in thought, deeply reflecting on his life. On the third day, while sitting quietly at the station, something caught his attention. Near the railway tracks, a small patch of wildflowers was blooming. Their bright colors stood out against the dusty surroundings. Suddenly, an idea struck him. What if, he thought, instead of only taking, I offer something in return? What if I give people a flower whenever they give me money? Filled with determination, the beggar carefully walked over and gently picked a handful of flowers. He returned to his usual spot and waited. When a passenger gave him a coin, the beggar smiled warmly and handed them a flower in return. To his surprise, the person accepted it with joy. Some people smiled, others thanked him, and a few even stopped to admire the flower. As the days went by, something remarkable happened. More people began giving him money. He noticed a clear pattern. Whenever he had flowers to give, people donated generously. When he ran out of flowers, the donations slowed down. So it's true, he thought. People like to receive something in return. But one day, while he was offering flowers in exchange for alms, he noticed a familiar face sitting inside a train. It was the businessman. Excited, the beggar rushed toward him. "Sir," he said eagerly, "today I have something to give you. If you give me money, I will give you flowers in return." The businessman smiled, handed him some cash, and accepted the flowers. "You have understood the true value of exchange," he said. "Today you are no longer just a beggar, you have become a businessman." As the train pulled away, the beggar stood on the platform, watching it disappear. The businessman's words sparked a powerful thought in his mind. Am I really a businessman? He reflected deeply. Then suddenly a realization struck him. I have discovered the secret of success, he said to himself. I am not just a beggar. I am a trader. People are not giving me money out of pity. They are paying for the flowers I give them. That means I have a business. Filled with excitement and confidence, the man made a bold decision. That very day, he left the railway station and never returned as a beggar again. 6 months later, at the same railway station, two well-dressed men crossed paths. They greeted each other with a handshake, but one of them looked puzzled. "Do I know you?" he asked. The other man smiled. "Yes, we've met before, twice, right here at this station." The first man tried to remember. Suddenly, his eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, you're the beggar!" "The one I refused to give money to, and later bought flowers from." The former beggar laughed. "Yes, that was me. But today I'm no longer a beggar. I run a successful flower business, and I'm traveling to expand it." The businessman was amazed. "That's incredible. What changed?" The flower seller smiled warmly and replied, "You taught me one of life's greatest lessons. We receive only when we give. That day I realized I was never truly a beggar. I was a businessman all along. I just had to see myself that way." The two men shook hands again, this time as equals, and boarded their trains heading toward their own futures. Life is shaped by how we see ourselves. If you believe you are small, weak, or incapable, you will remain that way. But if you recognize your inner strength and potential, you can achieve greatness. Do not limit yourself with negative thoughts. See yourself as confident, capable, and successful. Because when your thoughts change, your future changes too.